All right, Alan. So yeah, so what I'm wanting to do now is move all these fields that I've commented out into the from the game class into the player class. And the reason I'm commenting them out as a first step, I just want to make sure that um, these fields are all being used and that they're being used for something that should be in the player class. So the first message I got right here, compiler I got was with room history. So room history is being used. So for now, like I said, I'm just sorting out. I'm going to cut and paste. I'm just sorting out what fields are actually being used. I'm just double checking to make sure these fields are actually being used. And then inventory item, new room, room containing item held by player. So really, it's the player that's going to store the the items. We're not going to have like a. He's not going to need to carry a room around with him to store the items. Now I understand. Now I see a little bit about what you're doing, but yeah, logically I would say rather than having an inventory room. Oh, I see what you're doing. So you have an inventory room to um, to store the player's stuff. Okay, that's an interesting approach. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to I'm going to put that on hold just because I want us to um, move the items directly into the player. I think it makes sense that the player's carrying the items rather than the player's carrying a room around with them. I don't think we need all the room stuff. But, that's something that can be rethought at a future time. But I think for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm not going to have an inventory room. And let me just see where else you're using that. So copy, let me find. So inventory item. Okay, I see. So you have a bunch. You have that in a bunch of places. Let's see. Next. So I see. So you add or remove when you take an item. You add or remove it to the inventory room. But then see, it's your game class that's storing that inventory stuff that the player's supposed to hold on to. So if anything, if you really wanted to use that idea of storing everything in an inventory room, then that should follow the player around too, because the player keeps that, right? So okay, so I think we're going to have to rethink this inventory um, this inventory item room thing that because the collection of items also should be stored in the player. All right, so we have that we have to do. So we do have one of those. I see what that's for now. A current room. Okay, so yeah, current room is something we're going to want to move also. Okay, and then room now. So I'm not sure what the difference is between current room and room now, or why you would need a separate, why you would need a room now apart from the current room. Okay, so where else is this being used? So room now. Okay, so it's only being used in Go Room. and there's no place so you're assigning a value to room now. So you're assigning the current room to room now. Oh, I see. So room now. Oh, so well, if there is no door, so it looks to me like this room now isn't really necessary. That you could use. You could probably stick this line up here to print out what the current room is, and then, but let's see, let me think about this. So right here, this is in Go Room, right? In Go Room, okay. So that's something to think about. It seems like there's probably a way around this that we don't really need that room now variable field. But let's stick it up here for now. So this is, and I'm going to make a little comment here. So only used in Go Room. Seems like we can work around it. Okay, and then here, and then here class compiled with no errors. So we're not using backroom or back direction, so we can take those fields out. So that makes life a little easier. Cut those, and we still compile okay. All right, so then our next step is going to be to figure out how we can start moving these fields, and specifically I'm talking about these fields from the game class into the player class, and we'll start on that on the next video.